Okay, so one of the most useful and important ways of using LinkedIn is to develop a presence so that you draw to you people that would be interesting for you to meet, or people in your field that you would like to talk to get more of a sense of what opportunities there are. So like people in different organizations that are interesting to you and you want to learn more about what their culture is like, and if there is an opportunity there for you. And also, I've found LinkedIn is a great way just to meet really interesting people that are fun to talk with. Um, I've reached out to people who've commented on posts of mine or commented on posts that I've commented on, and we've ended up, having Zoom meetings. And there's one person in particular that I ended up being on her podcast. We ended up doing a webinar together, and now we're we're friends. And so it's just a great platform professionally and even personally, like sort of mixing personal professional. And so to do that, you need to get out there and post and like and comment. And so let me just kind of walk you through an example that was just recent, that happened recently for me. So this post by Susan David. So she wrote a book called Emotional Agility, which I read, good book. And so I started to follow her. And so she has this post on, as you can see, a technique for dealing with stress and not fearing it, not trying to avoid it, not making it into a bigger deal than it needs to be. And she also does a great example of using an image to make her post um, uh, more noticeable. I don't remember the research, but there's some research I saw where a post that has an image is like X percentage more likely to be viewed than one without one. And it was really high. And it might even been multiples, like 3 times more likely. So I use Canva. So canva.com is a great way to make simple visuals for LinkedIn, and they even have like templates, LinkedIn post templates. So, okay. So find people that interest you, and they could be people that are well known in your field. It could be leaders at organizations that you want to learn more about, and potentially learn more about if there's an opportunity there for you to apply your unique strengths and skills. So following people that have interesting things to say. Okay, so great. What do you do? Well, one thing you can do is you can just like it, or you have the options here. I'll do a like. I hadn't done the like before. And that's great. You could also just do a comment, hey, great post, thank you. And that's fine. What I think is more useful both for yourself and for others, so a way for you to provide value to the world, is to think about how can I add value to this post? So what do I know about this that might be helpful to other readers? And so here's me doing that, or at least attempting to do that. So first off, you see where I have what a great way, Susan. So you just do at in the person's name, and it will tag them so they'll know that you commented, um, and gave them a shout out. To not over identify with a feeling, but instead use it as information. So one of the things I try to do is give the person a sincere compliment. And I actually, when I first posted my comment, I didn't do it. I don't know if I was in a rush or what, but I went back and edited it. I just think it's just a nice, thoughtful thing to do. So it isn't just like, hey, you said your thing. Now let me tell you what I know about it. Um, it's more gracious than just launching into one's own knowledge on the topic. So I'm going to read this because it actually relates to the job search scenario. So we can also ask, what story am I telling myself about this situation that is adding unnecessary stress? And what would be a more empowering story? I'm just going to stop reading for a second. I tell you, of all the stress management strategies and resilience enhancing skills I've studied and practiced over the years, learning to recognize and counteract counterproductive counterproductive stories. That's one of the most useful tools in the toolbox. So learning to recognize and challenge the unproductive stories we tell ourselves, i.e. the meaning we ascribe to situations, is one of the most powerful ways of reducing stress and cultivating resilience. So for instance, a job hunter, this is why I'm reading it to you, goes for a job interview and doesn't do as well as they had hoped. They came across, in their opinion, as stilted and didn't like the way they answered a number of questions. The story they tell themselves could be, what a disaster that was. That was the perfect job and I blew it. I'm just so lousy at interviewing. It's obviously going to take forever to get a new job. So that's one way of interpreting what happened. Or, well, I clearly need to learn more about how to interview well and practice more. And this isn't the end of the world. It's just a bump in the road and a learning opportunity. So we can choose, I'm not reading right now. We could choose which story we tell. And obviously they have a really different effect. So back to the post. Depending on which, I got to edit that out, on which story we tell ourselves, we'll have a very different emotional response and a very different next step and trajectory. Now, I just noticed I have exceeded the maximum character limit. That explains why the following happened. When I was just about to record this, I noticed that this line wasn't in there. And I was like, I could swear I put it in when I edited it. And I think what happened is when I tried to save it, LinkedIn cut it out because I've exceeded the word limit. So I'm going to take this out. I think it's 1250. I'll do this. This typo will get me under the limit. Bingo, save changes. And I might go back and tweak it because I might want to do a couple more hashtags. So hashtags are a great way to expand the reach of your post, whether it's a comment or an actual post. And actually, let me go show you the post version of this. So when I did my rather lengthy comment, LinkedIn said, hey, would you like to turn this into a post? And so I'd already planned on doing that. So I just opened, so I basically copied and pasted what I wrote before, but I did a different intro. So I do a shout out to Susan David. So I did @Susan, and then LinkedIn did a little drop down for me to pick Susan David. So again, a little shout out to the original author, and this gets my post on her radar screen. And she's got so many followers. I doubt that she's going to go to my post and comment on it, but I've had people with a lot of followers, shoot me a thanks for sharing, or, loved your comments or whatever. What's also good about it is people who follow Susan David are also able to see my posts. So people that aren't following me. So I do a few different hashtags. So again, expanding my reach. And then I also did at a couple of organizations that I think would be good ways of connecting with people that are people I would like to connect with. So that's what you do, okay? Or that's one of the things that you can do. If you saw me hesitate, Zoom popped up a notification of a meeting coming up. So I just had to get rid of that. So that's one of the most important things that you can be doing to start to build a presence on LinkedIn and start to attract people that interest you. I'll actually just do one other thing here since we're on here. Oh, okay. So this is actually Raina, who actually, that's right. I was already connected with her. She did a great comment. Um, I'll read it. Such a good point. I was stressing about not hearing back from someone once, and a wise friend told me, you know what it means when you haven't heard back from someone, don't you? I'm sorry. You know what it means when you haven't heard back from someone, don't you? My eyes got big and I said, no, waiting for the big secret when she said, it means you haven't heard from them. And that's such a great example of making a comment that provides tremendous value. So I just, as you see here, I just, thanked her for her awesome comment. And I did a love of that. And if we weren't already connected, I would have reached out to her and said, love your comment, would love to connect with you. And maybe talk someday and kind of compare notes. So that's somebody who commented on my post, but looking at the comment sections on posts that your people you're following is also a great way to find people sort of like in your tribe, people who are interested in what you're interested in, people who are in the field that you're interested in. Okay, so hope that's useful. And I'll do another post in terms of working with hashtags.